Welcome back, guys, to the second episode of His Way Production. It's nice to have you back.
It is really good to have you back.
So, I think, have they subscribed?
I hope so.
No, if you haven't subscribed, there is a button. Yeah, there.
Right there below. Right there.
We have done it. Listen.
Thank you so much. So the topic for today, as we said in the last video, an introductory video, is happiness and its joy of the Lord. As we're starting, you know a guy that we all know in the Bible, a very famous guy in the Bible. His name was David. So do you know about him?
No, King David.
Oh, absolutely, that same guy. So historians estimate that he lived around 3,000 years ago, somewhere around 1000 BC. But his life had gone through a lot of troubles, a lot of misery, a lot of pain. And you know, if we were to look at it, if we were to experience his life, we might not even call it a happy life. To understand David's life, let's look into 1 Samuel chapter 29. 1 Samuel chapter 29 documents one of the harshest days, one of the saddest days in David's life. David and his men were coming back from war. They were going out to a war, and the king said, well, we don't want you with us. You have to go back to your city. We've got to go back to your town. We don't want you with us. And they came back to their town. They came back to their city, the city of Ziklag, and it was burned to the ground. It was burned to the ground. An enemy had come and they had pillaged the town. They had carried away their family. They had carried away their children. Every single thing that David and his men had was set to fire. A point of absolute pain. A point of absolute misery. That's what David had to endure that day. And it is written in the words that David and his men wept.
That's the time they just understood his heart was full of grievances.
Absolutely. And there's very specific word in that. They said they wept until they had no more strength left to weep. Can you imagine that? They wept and wept and wept until they had no more strength left to do anything. Sometimes in our lives, we go through something that really shakes us. A trauma. Something that really grinds us and brings us down to our knees, and we just don't know what to do. We just don't know where to go. We just don't know where to turn. And all we can do is grieve. But there's a difference. And I think, Abin, you would have noticed it. There was a difference in the grieving of David.
And there was a difference in grieving of a common man.
Absolutely. See, David's men, they were all grieving. David was grieving. Everybody was grieving. David's men said, you know what, David? It's your fault. It's your fault we went to the war. It's your fault that we left our families.
Saying like a blame game.
Absolutely. They were blaming David. They were so on the point of blaming David that they said, you know what? We're going to stone you. You're going to die. You're the reason we've lost our families. You're the reason we don't have a home.
You're the reason of all the destructions.
Absolutely, yeah.
What is happening?
Yeah. And there's a difference in David. It's written after he had wept, after he had cried, and after the tears had dried. There's a very specific verse, and it says, David strengthened himself in the Lord.
So whenever we cry out to the Lord, there is a strength we receive. And that is the phase from the destruction path to the path of joy.
In every step of our life, during the crushing defeat that we face, if we look up unto God, He will still renew our joy. So this is what we wanted to bring to you today from the life of David. How to not lose perspective while grieving.
So, are we on the David side, or are we on the people who just blamed David? Think about it and get back to us.
We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.